Hey guys, Bryant back in the Rock Life studio for episode 66 out the top. Today is October the 15th, 2024. Dan Carter's back. What's up, buddy?
What's happening?
Man, nothing. Me and you were talking, and it was our tax day today.
Yeah. For the procrastinators, today is also known as uh, tax day if you filed an extension,
Yes. So
and
yeah,
I hate
it's
it.
just a bad day. Bad day. Nevertheless. All right, before we get into the show, once again, guys, I appreciate everybody who is hitting that subscribe button. Everybody's following the show, sharing, commenting, join the channel. If you feel the need, we do offer memberships. Those are available on YouTube. A couple different levels. As always, get on there, get you some codes to save up to 50% on Rock Life and Out the Top Dan Carter merch at rockliferacing.com. But more importantly than that, listen, we are at 8,700 subscribers on YouTube. Making a push. Really want to get to 10,000 before the end of the year, which I think we should be able to do. No problem. But nevertheless, if you guys are listening or watching on YouTube, please, if you've not subscribed, please do so. If you can, hit that share button. Let's try and get those numbers. I want to get to 10. It'd be cool if we could get to 10 before the Battle of the Bouncers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But at the very least, I want to hit 10 before the end of the year.
Yeah,
So, everybody, appreciate what you do for the channel, for the show. Once again, everybody, man, every week somebody calls, texts, either me or Dan is talking about the show, and guys, we like it. Keep it coming.
oh yeah. I always appreciate the pats on the back or the constructive criticism. Anything we can do to kind of help make this better for the listeners.
Yeah, we want it to be entertaining. It's got to be entertaining for you guys, and I feel like as this season especially has went on, we're finally starting to get, after 2 years, we're finally starting to get a little better foothold at what we're doing, a little better at what we're doing, a little more comfortable, I guess. So maybe it won't be too bad. All right, so this episode, last week we kind of reviewed just the finals event. This week we're kind of going back and we're going to look at the season as a whole. First part of the episode, we're going to talk about the season. We're going to do a couple different things. We're going to do some way too early predictions for next year. And then, back in the day, National Rock Racing Association at their banquet used to give out a ton of awards. Like, it would be, I don't know, something I don't even remember. But
It's kind of like Rookie of the Year, Bobby Tanner Award, stuff like that.
yeah, it was like that, but there was a bunch. Now on the regular, we usually have our end of the season awards and just one or two more, like the Rookie of the Year and Bobby Tanner and a few little things like that.
Right.
But back in the day, there used to be like 30 awards.
For sure.
And so we're going to go back and have a little fun with that. And we've got a list of our own awards we're going to give out. So if nothing else, you guys are going to stay and see who gets what. We've got, I don't know, 10, 15 here picked out, maybe 20. I don't know. There's a handful. We've got some pretty good ones. They're pretty good awards. So stick around for that. Okay, let's get into our 2024 season for the National Rock Racing Association. Okay. I think, last year, of course, Timmy wasn't around. Gave some guys an opportunity to get some wins that hadn't gotten some wins, some podiums, new faces and whatnot. Coming back into this year, Timmy come back, and as we expected, kind of laid the hammer down to everybody. But outside of that, and I wouldn't even call it a surprise, but nobody even really knew if he was coming back. When he took the year off, is he coming back? Was he gonna race? 100 shot was a trail rig. Outside of that, was there any like real surprises throughout the season or anything that draws your attention?
Well, yes, and well, kind of caught me off guard. I knew he would be back sooner or later. I didn't know it was going to be for a full year. I figured he was just going to hit what was close to him. But it was a surprise to me to see him run the whole year. And I was kind of leading into next year. I don't know. We know 100 shots sold, so we don't know if he's running next year or not. So it's going to be a guess next year as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Rumor is, Timmy's building a new buggy. Just rumor, allegedly. Building a new buggy, but they're shooting for midsummer. Parts availabilities, things like that. Not in a big hurry. But this year, outside of him coming back and running the full season, man, I think my biggest surprise was Brandon in the bouncer class. I really expected him after such a good year last year to come back and challenge TC a little harder. And I think you give him back, and you can say this about anybody though. You give him back a couple DNFs, and he's up there in the mix. He had some bad luck, and we've talked about that a couple times. But I think for me, your defending champion finishing 6th or 7th, I think is probably the biggest surprise out of the bouncer class at the very least.
Right.
Is there any driver or team or anything that kind of stood out to you through the years? Something maybe somebody you wasn't really expecting to do really well that did well, or vice versa?
Well, I know we talk about Nick a good bit, and he kind of come out of nowhere, and this was, I think, his first full season, and he did get the Rookie of the Year award. So I mean, he come on the scene pretty hot, and to not been around the sport as much, he's a heck of a driver and a bouncer.
Yeah, I don't know his backstory at all, and I feel like I should.
Right.
Because in my mind, like, he's been around, but I didn't realize that this was his rookie year. And maybe I'm just thinking, that buggy's been around for a while, and I know that was a Jake Pike buggy, right?
Right.
Yeah. So maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily, after going back and watching some of his videos and stuff, and we've talked about that throughout the year, some of the videos and stuff he puts out, the dude puts in the work.
Right.
So surprise, not surprise, I don't know. He deserved what he got, because I mean, I don't think there's many people out there that are going to outwork him. With that kind of work ethic, I mean, you kind of expect results. So,
right. And then to me, another one that I wasn't expecting was to see Wade at finals.
Ooh, rumors, allegedly. Is he coming back next year?
That's the rumor mill.
That pain in the neck must have cleared up.
I've heard a couple of different stories. I've heard that he either wants to come back and do the full season, but if his body's not going to let him, then he's just going to shut it down right then.
Yeah, he's had a couple abrupt exits in his time. Once in the UTVs, once in bouncer. And I don't think he wants to have to do that again. So
right.
He wants to make sure that if he comes back, he can come back and put his all into it. which is it's a demanding season. So I get it. I mean, it you think 10 races? Oh, it's just 10 races, but I mean
That's a lot of
that's a
wear and
lot.
tear on your body.
Yeah, it is. So I hope he comes back, and I hope he comes back, and I hope Timmy makes it back at the start of the season. I want to see them two go at it again.
Yeah, yeah, it's good to watch the rivals kind of push each other.
It just makes everybody better.
Right,
It just makes everybody better, makes everybody faster, and you know, if we were ever in a position to win a championship, I would take it no matter who we were racing.
right,
But it would have to feel so much better. You know, in my eyes, those are the two fastest guys that have been in Rock Bouncers in a long time.
right.
If you could come back and beat both of them
Oh yeah,
over a 10 race season, you've done something.
right.
So I don't know. I think it would be cool to have them back, running head to head. You know, what was it, 2 years ago? Maybe, well, it would be 3 seasons ago now. Finals, going into finals, they were what, 4 points apart.
Right.
You know, that's what we need.
That's right. Close.
Yeah. Hopefully Wade comes back. Hopefully Timmy comes back. Hopefully everybody comes back.
Yeah.
I think we had a really good season. What is your do you have it like, okay, so like last year for me, the final event at Bikini Bottoms may go down in my eyes anyways as one of the best rock races we have ever had. Is there any one event from this season that you think maybe stands out, was a better race than the rest?
Man, all of them that we attended were so good. Had such a good time. Clyde and all the team puts on such a good event. But it's hard to name just one. But if I had to, I would say definitely finals this year. Um, Watching Cooper and Nick go at it for third spot, dude, that was some good racing. Seeing the guys in a VIN class going at it for, uh, the podium for the year. Uh, God, man, they were just beating on those machines. And then, too, with the like UTV Bounty, like all that stuff was so close that we could only guess who was going to be the champion, but it could have been taken away from anybody. So, uh, to me, in my eyes, the finals this year was definitely hands down. Even though it was chaotic and it just felt like one big long race, to me, it really didn't feel like finals. It just felt like a big 3 day event, almost, I guess, kind of like Visions, if you will. But there was so much racing going on, so many courses to memorize. But if I had anything to take away from it, would be watching the bouncer class go at it this year.
Yeah, finals was really good race wise. I feel really bad for the people who didn't come for whatever
Oh yeah,
reason. You know, we talked about that last week. The attendance was kind of low, but man, that was a really good event. But now, okay, I'm going to use your point to reinforce a point I had early in the year. That was a really good race. It was awesome watching Nick and Cooper. It was awesome watching the Bounty Series. But you know what? The people who just come to watch the race, maybe the average person didn't have a clue what they were watching.
right.
That's where we need something to inform these people. Some sort of, and I don't know how you do it. I know it's an extra expense, right? I get that. But if there was just a way where we could inform the people watching, okay, that's why these two guys are driving wide open, and then that's
Right.
why this guy is running in low gear crawling.
Right.
They need to understand the point situation a little better. And the only way currently that we have to do that is through, our announcer, who at Wildcat, I mean, I was 100 foot from him, hard to hear. I
Yeah.
know you guys over by the pits and very far away from him at all couldn't hear him.
Right.
The only other way would be to watch the live feed or listen to the live feed while you're actually at the event.
Right.
That's not ideal. I think we need to get at least some sort of. We got to find a better. If we can't do scoreboards, and I know we can't, we're not going to do scoreboards. I know we're not. We need to find a better way to translate what's happening to the fans.
Right. I would really really love like a jumbotron, but like you said, doing a scoreboards, uh, it's a lot of work. Even if it's not a jumbotron, I think I saw TikTok or someone showing the new. I think it's a Vizio, like a 96-inch or 108-inch. I can't remember what. It's like a really big ass TV. But like, how cool would that be to see on the side of the production trailer with all the scores and the times and all that on it?
Well, listen, I just happen to know a guy here in town. Like even for finals, and I'm not. I wish we could do this for every event. It's not going to happen. But for finals, maybe we do look at getting a jumbotron for the weekend.
Right.
And there's 2 here in my town. We need to book it now for next
That'd be
year.
cool.
I mean, there's 2 here in town. I can set up the contacts, guys. But yeah, just even if it's just a static scoreboard,
Right.
just something, I think would be awesome. Anywho, so is there anything else? I mean, really, from drawing back from the season as a whole, is there anything else that stands out to you? The battle with Nick and Cooper coming down to the end was cool. There was some drama. Oh, I guess around race 6, 7. When Timmy had lost the points lead. And legit up until finals, one bad run.
Right.
And he was in trouble. It wasn't a lock this year.
Yeah.
He had some DNFs that you don't normally see.
Yeah, that was shocking. Especially like I know it was out of his control, but like Hawk Pride, I think it was it's like a throttle issue, throttle cable or pedal, something. I don't know if it's drive by wire or not, but had a DNF, and that's very rare.
Yeah, it made for a very anticlimactic because I think he was I want to say, was he the last one to go that day?
Yeah, I think it was.
He was the last one to go. The star of the series. Everybody hyped up, ready to perfect way to end the day.
Right.
And he barely makes it out the start line. Womp womp.
And then another memorable moment to me was the deal that you made with Matt Holt in the previous episode that you would have him back on.
Open my mouth.
If he completed two hills, and he definitely did that at, was it Indian Mountain?
Indian Mountain.
Indian Mountain.
And I seen Matt at finals. He was walking up to get him some lunch one day, and he came over and he was talking to me, and I said, "What's up, Matt?" He came over and he grabbed me by his, he's like, "Guess what? What? I finished both hills." I was like, "Yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me. We'll get it scheduled." So you can look forward to that at some point this off season. We're going to have Matt back. Man of my word. We'll have him back and get to know him a little bit more. But yeah. So don't ever make deals with people.
It'll all be good. But probably another one too was I really enjoyed Rush. That's when we got to debut the new L&W Rock Life buggy.
Oh.
And that to me was probably one of the best races. Like the car just felt good. course was good. It was fast. Uh, it's almost like there wasn't much driving to it. You just go fast, and it felt good. But um, that to me was probably one of the most memorable moments over
So
the season from our race team.
I think if you move Rush, this is hypothetical. This is not a wish list. Hypothetically speaking, if Rush was event 9 of the season instead of event 4 or whatever it was,
Right.
I think you're a top 3 car in that
Yeah.
race. Because like I had to force you to drive the damn thing before you took off from the starting line. I was like, Dan, go drive it. You had what, 5 minutes of seat time prior to pulling up to the starting line?
Yeah, man, it felt good, but I'm still worried sick about scratching that thing. It's just that's the prettiest damn car.
So we're at the and I know a lot of you guys were there. You can go back and watch it on YouTube. We're there. We're at Rush, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, Dan, go drive the car. It'd be all right. Dan, go drive the car. Like, we just reassembled it. It's minty fresh.
Right.
I finally get him in the car, and he goes up into the flat and does a turn or two, and he's like, okay, I'm good. And then the next time he drives it is from the starting line to race. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. He's going to not know the car. He's going to take it easy. And you come out of the starting line and hold it on the floor the whole damn run.
Yeah, man, I had dreams about that car.
And I was like, holy crap. But I think if that race was now, or that race was, race 9 or 10 of the season, I think you're on top 3 because you're getting more and more comfortable in it. And now, thanks to our buddy Nathaniel Bell, who has spent 3 days at the shop with me this week, or in the last week. So, that's I'll be the first to admit I'm not a clutch guru.
Yeah.
Don't know a whole lot about them. I just knew that car, it was all or nothing.
For sure.
But now there's some pedal in it and some throttle control. And, I was explaining to somebody just earlier, if you needed to get out of the throttle to slow down, you couldn't back out of the throttle. You had to come completely off.
Right.
Because there was no in the middle.
For sure.
Now there's an in the middle. So a little more throttle control in there, a little more pedal for you to play with. I may have fucked it all up. I don't know.
No, that's definitely going to be better because to me, it's like the only way I could have of explaining it is almost like it was too much. Like it's almost like having a 2,000 horsepower car, and every time you slightly mash the pedal, it's just all over the fucking place.
Yeah. So we got it tamed down. All the power is still there when you need it, when you want it, but it's still fun to drive. No, I mean it's yeah. I took her for a little joyride the other day. So yeah, we got that thing going good. All right, so let's go. We're gonna pretend that everybody that raced this year. This is the hard part about making picks in our sport. We're going to pretend that the field we have this year is the field we have next year. Now, way too early predictions for 2025. The only thing I will add is we're pretty certain that Wade is going to run bouncer. We're uncertain about Timmy. We're just going to put them both in and say they're both running. But in the bouncer class, I'll let you make 2 picks. So like if Timmy's running, if Timmy isn't running. you may not need to. You may pick the same person both ways. Way too early predictions for 2025. Who do you think would be your bouncer champion in 25? This year, we had Timmy on the podium. Daniel Heckley come on pretty good there at the end of the year. And then Nick Rock and Cooper was right there. And I think I can't remember. I think Clint got fifth. Who's your pick right now for champion?
Okay, champion or top three?
Let's just give me a champion.
Okay, man. If Timmy's running next year full season, it's going to be Timmy.
You're never going to be wrong picking Timmy.
If Timmy's not running, Wade does a full season, it's going to be Wade. If Wade bows out mid-season and no Timmy, I'm going to say Nick.
Oh, he could very easily do that.
Yeah, and it would be, yeah, I'm gonna say that, but I'm gonna also say probably yeah.
You can't pick the whole field now.
I know. But man, I feel like Cooper, man, you can't count Cooper out, but I would definitely say he's going to be on the podium at the end of the season next year.
Okay, so for me, I'm kind of feeling the same way you are. The only difference is it's so hard to pick these because you never know who's actually going to run. So if Timmy and Wade are running, I really think, and it's hard to pick against TC, but I really think that Wade, if he runs the full season, I think he wants it. I think he has the support behind him to make that happen because I know Reject wants it. So I think if it comes down to those two, I think Wade gets one. I don't know. I feel like Wade can get it if they really want it, he can go get it. Now, that being said, my next pick, my under pick, is going to be the comeback story. I don't think Brandon has 2 years in a row like he did.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to tighten up next year.
He's too good of a driver and he has too good of a machine. I don't know what went wrong this year. And maybe nothing. Maybe just a couple bad bounces that have been saving up to get him. I don't know. But I don't think he has 2 years like that again. I think he can come back and challenge, those guys. So it's to me, it's one of those three. I do think Daniel Heckley is getting more and more comfortable in Hellbent. I've always said Timmy's buggies need to be drove like they're on the ragged edge. And a lot of people that have old Timmy chassis don't do that. And they don't perform as well. But Daniel is getting more and more used to driving on that edge. He's pushing that buggy. I would really like to see what Tyrant can do.
Right.
But he's going to have – Dan Bowman is going to have to drive the absolute piss out of that car to get it to its potential.
Right.
And I know that's easier said than done, but that's how those machines have to be driven.
Right.
So anyways, there's that. UTV Cup, kind of the same deal for me. If Timmy's in, I think he can win. I mean, Clay's fast. Clay is fast. And Timmy, if he is beatable, he is more beatable in the UTV class than he is the bouncer class. I think if Clay can run a whole season, without blowing another motor, I think Clay can get him.
Yeah.
Outside of Clay in the Cup class, I really don't know if there's another like really real tight contender. I know Dylan Dowler got third this year, but he had some hiccups along the year. I don't think his car has the same all-out speed as those two guys do. Winter can change a lot of things, but I think your UTV class, I think Clay is the only one that can push Timmy.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Let's do. Of course, also bounty class is kind of the same way. You never know who's going to run.
Yeah. And
It's hard to
man,
pick.
it is because it's like, I'll be honest with you. If, if you're going to run bounty, you need to just run bounty.
Yeah,
And,
I
and
think we've
this,
seen that.
it's tough keeping a car together. And it's like, you see all the guys that run cup that do run bounty, there's some breakage going on. It just wears a car out. Like bounty just absolutely is hard on a car.
It wears a car out, and also, we've tried it running. We tried to save cars. We had a car for each class. It saves the cars. It lengthens their lives if you can stick them to one class or the other. But in the same token, it wears the person out
Right.
because now instead of working on one car, you're working on two or three.
Right.
So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of deal.
Yeah.
But the guys who
And then,
run bounty every week, um, they excel
yeah.
in that style. Oh, speaking of which, you're not going to believe, and I don't know as they'll come run uh, National Rock Racing Association. I don't know as they'll do that. They may come run some outlaw or some other events. You'll never believe who I talked to today who's wanting to get back into UTV racing. An OG.
Man, I guess what I was fixing to say. I feel like it's going to be an OG guy.
It's an OG guy that's been around forever. We've talked about him on the show, and it wasn't the greatest talk of all. But the guy can drive, and he's a hill killing OG. I think him and his dad took home 3 razors from Race of the Riches one year.
Hmm.
I talked to Gilbert today, Gilbert Hollingsworth, and first time I'd spoke to him in a while, and he was talking about wanting to build a Pro R chassis on a Turbo S platform.
Yeah.
And try that. They always had the old Silver Bullet buggy with the Apex motor, high horsepower and stuff. Did
Right.
really well. But that's what he's wanting to do. He's wanting to put a Pro R engine in a Turbo S platform and build another race buggy. We'll see if that comes to fruition. You know how them Fab guys are.
Yeah.
Especially when it's their own project.
Yeah. I'd love to see that combo. I don't know this has been done yet, but
No, and I would just, when I first got into the sport, you had Justin Frazier from RSC was racing. Justin Pierpoint from ORB was racing. Gilbert and Gilbert's Offroad racing. And you had a lot of these OG Fab guys that were in the sport and running. And I think it would be cool if you could get some of those guys back out and to give it another shot.
Yeah.
It'd be back to the old bounty days.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
That,
So we'll see if he shows up anywhere. I doubt it. He might. Um, UTV stock. Can anybody catch Cody?
man, he's going to be hard to beat, even though he's getting a new car for next year. It's I feel like it's going to be the same setup. Probably running high horsepower, big turbo. So that's what it's going to take to catch him.
So here's my question. I like it is the stock. Should we rename that class at this point?
Man, I feel like we need an extra class for it to be just a pure stock, because some of the youth class is getting to the point to where they're going to not be eligible for youth anymore. We saw Brantley Havens come into the stock class. He had a really good year this year, but man, it's like feeding the sacrificial lamb to the wolves, man. It's like you just throwing them in and crossing your fingers, and it's hard to compete with guys like that when you're just fresh out of the youth class.
So the thing is policing it.
Right.
And anytime you put rules on something, you're going to have people who push the limits of the rules. You're going to have people who cheat.
Right.
And nobody wants to be the asshole that says, "Oh, you're cheating," or you don't want to have to be the guy and go tattletale on somebody for running too much stuff. The stock class rules are pretty basic.
Right.
Front plastics, stock frame, bolt-on accessories. That's pretty well it.
Right.
That is very vague in our market.
It is.
But what do you do? Do you start policing? Do you start checking turbos? I mean, how do you police that?
I think you'd almost have to do just like a naturally aspirated class and a turbo class.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, because I don't know how else to do it, because you can say what you want, but all these tunes and turbos that these guys are putting on there, you can call and get them.
Right.
They're readily available. It's not a big. There's only so much you can do without building a motor.
Right.
And like I said, we're not going to be teching engines and stuff like that. So I think we need to have a stock NA and then a stock turbo class maybe.
Yeah. Either that or age limit would probably be the.
Well, I do think they're talking about that teenage class for next year.
Yeah.
But where does that fall? How old's Cody?
So
19.
I'm thinking yeah. So you could do 18 and under or 16 and under or something. I mean, you could. You don't want to penalize them.
Yeah, I think you could do.
But you want it to be fair for the kids.
I think you could do just run it with the stock class. I think would be my opinion. Do a 12 to 16. Run it with the stock class. If there is an area of the course maybe that's a little sketchy, find a way around it for the kids or for the younger competitors.
Or dial the stock class back a little bit like it used to be.
Like it started out.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you take it back, these guys are only going to get faster.
Right.
I was thinking, roundy round we used to run, you had a pure street class and a super stock class. I feel like our stock class is more of a super stock class.
For sure.
But there you go. You get into the daggone rules and things like that. And he's going to be hard to beat, nevertheless.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Anything else you really want to talk about through for last season? Anything?
Well, something I mean, we always kind of, it's not necessarily we shy away from them. And I mean, they put on a hell of a show as the VIN class. I'd love to see that class grow. And uh, I kind of hate we missed Don Curtis at finals. Um, but I think he ran some sort of side by side class the same weekend and won.
Yeah.
So, it was a totally different event. But, if he's not running next year, are we just going to be down to two, three people? Or, we need to kind of help grow that class. It's going to be hard to catch Charles, but
We need to
I'd
find a
love to see that.
way to move that. If that class is going to survive, it's going to have to go Saturday.
Yeah.
It's just going to have to, and I don't know any other way.
I think I think run it in a like an intermission type deal, like during lunch.
Well, if you do that on
There's only
if you do that on Saturday, then you got the kids in there too, which you could run both of them during that time period.
yeah.
But yeah, I think if that class is going to survive, we're going to have to get some more rigs involved, and to get more rigs involved, the person you're chasing in that class cannot take off work on Friday.
Yeah.
They'll be there Saturday. I really feel like the person you're chasing cannot come on Friday. So yeah, that's my suggestion there. Anyways, good year. One of it just keeps getting better. Racers keep getting faster. Series is moving in the right direction. Oh, before we move into our awards, I do want to recognize the effort that the team at Rock Racing TV and the National Rock Racing Association is putting in to getting our events broadcast on SS1, Speed Sport 1. So when I was a kid, Saturday mornings were filled with monster trucks, and you'd watch the monster trucks. You'd watch it's basically the Lucas Oil Offroad, the Pro 2, Pro 4 trucks.
Mm-hmm.
You'd watch them on like TNN or what have you. TBS. I don't remember what channel it was, but you would watch those things, and they would condense those down to a 45-minute show.
Right.
But you had some motorsports to watch outside of the major motorsports. Now the world has evolved into, we don't have, used to we had the Speed Channel that might have showed some of that stuff. Now the world's evolved to streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got apps like Racing America, Flow Racing, things of that nature to catch your motorsports on. But Speed Sport has been around for years and years and years and years and years. And they're trying to develop their own platform. They have an app, Speed Sport 1. So for you guys that may not know, Speed Sport 1, you can download it on your phone. You can watch right now the first 3 races of this past season. It's just bouncers only, but you can watch the first 3 races of this past season on SS1 now. They have been airing on rotation. You can go to SS1 on Amazon Prime, Hulu, a lot of other things, and it's actually you can watch it on your TV. They've been coming Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. The next episode is the Rush Off-Road episode. We're going to have a little feature in that. Not sure of the air date yet, but we're going to have a little Rock Life, little Dan Carter Racing Super Grip feature in that episode. So I really want to I'll start to talk like Mike Tyson. I really want to say that what they're doing over there to push the sport is pretty unbelievable.
Right.
We catch, or we don't catch. I hear a lot of times about how much money this series makes. And, there's always talk that the series never has any money. From the series end, the series isn't making money. From everybody else, everybody thinks the series is getting rich.
Right.
But guys, you look at things that he's doing, like the production at the event. That's a lot of money to do the production at the event. That's a lot of money to do the editing after the fact. That's a lot of money to get this stuff set up to where it can be broadcast on places like that. Listen, Speed Sport 1 is not major in terms of streaming platforms. I get that. But you got to start somewhere. And, maybe one day this can be something that you can see on Motor Trend TV or something more prominent.
Right.
Or maybe Speed Sport picks up and becomes, on that level.
That's a possibility too.
It is. So there's a lot of effort going on behind the scenes. And just because you may not see it in your pocketbook right at this very moment does not mean it's not happening.
Right.
There's a big push to get this events, these races. There's a big push to get them in more households, more eyeballs watching, to help with, and it's to help the racers too.
For sure.
Use this opportunity to help sell sponsorships and things like that. You can pull up, if you're a bouncer driver, you can pull up on Speed Sport 1. You can pull up the first 3 races of the season right now. You can go to your run. You can show potential people, like, listen, we're on TV.
Yeah, for sure.
May not, we're working on the numbers. I was told, that when numbers were made available, that we would get them to be able to share with you guys. Don't expect 500,000 people to have viewed this, but I'm curious to know how many people have viewed. I'm curious to know if we're retaining people, if they're coming back to watch again. But as far as I know, episodes or races 4, 5, and 6 are almost finished and ready to be uploaded at any time. So keep an eye out for that. The goal, I think, is to try and get them all aired before the end of the year.
That's awesome.
And the goal for next year, if this goes well, is to get them aired before the next event.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, big things. You guys might not realize it, but I mean, we've got National Rock Racing Association is on Speed Sport 1. We are in Gigabit Games, Gigabit Offroad. It's in Overpass 2, the Xbox game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's pushes being made where we can make them.
That's right.
So hang in there, guys. Good things are on the horizon. They're coming. All right, let's get into our awards for the 2024 season. Let's do, so these are not serious. So if you're easily offended, please don't be.
Change the channel now.
Change the channel now. If you're gonna get in your feelings, you're gonna have to go somewhere else.
That's it. Let's move on.
All right. So we're gonna go through. We've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we got close to 20 here that we're gonna give out. So we're gonna give out our award, maybe explain it a little bit, and then move on to the next one. All right. So our first one of the season, or the first one for the season, I guess. Our Hit It and Quit It award, that goes to Mr. Wade Good for coming out and not racing at all year long, showing up to finals and just laying the smack down to everybody and walking off like a boss. Kind of reminds me of what Timmy done last finals.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that until just now. Timmy came out at Mid-America last year and laid a whooping on everybody after being gone for a year. So,
but they didn't give him a baby at finals.
True. What's our next one there?
So this is run of the year, and I had to do this just because they flipped over in the exact same spot, but he pulled it off, and Mr. Brandon Davis did not. But run of the year, I got to give that to Matt Holt at finals.
Listen, the only run of the year Matt Holt got was the runny stuff going down his britches leg when he rolled over. No, he did good, man. That was I honestly, when he rolled, I expected him to just be done.
Yeah, just drive back onto the trailer.
Yeah. Oh, I figured Toolman had to come pull him. I didn't figure, but no, he never slowed down.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good run. Our next award is our Hot Rod Award, and I'm going to explain how you get this award before I tell you who it's for. So the Hot Rod Award is when you have a problem with your rods in your engine trying to not be in there anymore. And one of our UTV drivers that has been through 2 or 3 motors this season, both in such a fashion where you could see the hot rods in his engine, Mr. Clay Kaysen. Phew. He had an expensive year.
Oh man. Yeah, and like it. Oh, I just don't even want to talk about it.
High horsepower has high maintenance bills.
That's it. So the next one, the baby mama was just coming to all the races. We even thought that she was probably going to have the baby at the race. So the baby on board award is going to go to none other than Josh Krapinski.
Yeah, or it was at Hawk Pride, and I was like looking around. I was like, "Where's Josh?" And they're like, "Oh, he's gone."
Yeah.
Why is he gone? They're having a baby now. Turned out false alarm. I think it was a few days later, but nonetheless. Our next award is our Suns Out Guns Out award, and I'm really not even going to explain this one. I'm just going to tell you we're giving this one to Nrra, and you'll completely understand why he wins that one. It was between him and Dan Bowman.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nrra wins our Suns Out Guns Out award. Who we got next?
So the TC Built award. we saw what happened at finals. He was proud to explain that his buggy was indeed TC Built.
TC Built, baby.
Mr. Daniel Heckley.
Heck yeah. All right. This next one is my LeBron James award. And if you want to know what the LeBron James award is, that's when you got the championship in your hand. You know, you're down to game 7, game 6, game 7, games on the line. And you just throw the ball out of bounds. You just give it back to the other team. You know, you just quit. Just quit. And I'm sorry, little buddy, but Cooper Bentley is our LeBron James award winner this season. Just had it in his hands. Just had it there, and
he
just dropped the ball. Cooper, come on.
Definitely a tough year,
Tough year.
especially towards the end of the season. Man, I hate that.
Tough year. Hey, he's a heck of a driver and a heck of a machine. Um, and I don't know. Was this his first full season in the Bouncer? I know he raced some last year.
I think it was his first full season. So I mean, you can't
No,
complain
no,
about
I'm
where
picking
he
on him.
ended up.
I'm picking on him. He done really good, and he done really good. And if as he progresses, he's going to make it hard on them guys next year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm going to do this one just because it's funny, and then I'm going to give it back.
Yeah,
to you.
yeah.
Okay,
This is your jam.
this is my jam. So, have you ever watched the movie? This is an old '90s movie. It was called "Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood." It's a really weird movie with an awesome title. And when we were trying to think of an award to give this person, for some reason, it just called to me. And I was like, huh, here we go. So, Brandon Davis, you win our You Can't Be a Menace While Trying to Race from Your Hood award because you spent most of the season on your roof. Bless your heart. Now, what we got?
So the Pink Cadillac Award goes to none other than Cody Kaysen.
There was a few contestants in that one, but man, that buggy looks smooth this year.
Yeah.
Our next one is the I'm Not Running for Points or Going to Missouri this year award. That goes to Nathaniel Bell because from the moment the season started, he said, I'm not running for points. I'm not driving out there. I'm not going here. I'm not going there. And I said, if you're leading the daggone points or in first or second, you're going.
Right.
Like you'll hate yourself if you don't go.
For sure.
And then he stuck it out, ended up winning the Bounty Series Championship. So the I'm Not Running for Points award, Nathaniel Bell.
Next, we have the Squirrel Hunter Award. That's going to go to Mr. Casey Howell.
Yeah, you got to stay out of them trees, Casey. Got to stay out of them trees, buddy. When the championship's on the line, you got to stay out of them trees.
That's the truth.
Our next award is the Trifecta Award. We talked about this a little bit last week. Going into finals, Mr. Coy Chappelle. Third place, run 1. Third place, run 2. Third place, run 3. Third place, run 4. Started third, finished third. Third for the season, I think. Yeah, enough said. Trifecta, Coy Chappelle. Chappelle.
Threes all around.
Yeah.
Next, we've got the Sunday Driver Award. And man, he still put down a smoking fast time just to be cruising around like it's any given Sunday.
Yeah, driving Miss Daisy.
Mr. Tim Cameron.
Yep. He put on a clinic, earned that right to take it easy at finals. The Whose Points Am I Running For Again award goes to Nathan King because I think he ran for literally everyone at some point this season. He had a good year, though. He had a real good year. Who we got next?
The Season Driver Award.
Listen.
Signed up for the whole season. I don't know that he raced 1-2 races.
I think he ran once.
Ethan Martin.
Yes, sir. My buddy Ethan, season driver of the year, run one event. You just keep donating your money, buddy.
Yeah. However, I did see that he does a plan to attend. Damn, getting tongue tied over here. He does plan to attend the Battle of the Bouncers. So for those tunnel vision fans,
we'll see.
Come out and see Ethan. He'll probably win the damn thing.
He'll probably just donate his entry fees. bless his heart. And our last award, we wanted to give something to one of our VIN class guys. And this guy deserves this one. Worked hard, drove hard, put on a show. I think dang near won every race. Our Junkyard Hero Award goes to our buddy over at High Octane Films, Charles Carriss. Man, that red Jeep, I don't know how it's still going.
He probably drives it at home, like on the road.
It's probably, I don't know about on the road.
I'm just gonna drive down the mailbox.
Yeah, that's
check the mail.
probably as far as I'd go. I probably wouldn't go down. All right, our last two are our normal awards that we usually give out per the races. We've got our Out the Top award and our seasonal On the Hook award. Out the Top, I feel like we've talked about this guy quite a bit in the last couple of weeks, but man, he just did really good. And kind of, not going to say wasn't expecting it, but started out the season kind of rocky and then drove his way back to a podium finish, season ending in the Bouncers. I think our Out the Top award for this 2025 season has got to be Nrra. It's got to be. The dude just grinded. And listen, drives from Wisconsin for every event.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, this is dedication. And then our On the Hook award, guys, this is the one you don't want to win. So I was thinking back, like who had the roughest go of it this year, who had the most crashes or DNFs. And there was a couple guys that I tossed around about, putting their name in the pot. But I really think this guy it was his rookie season as well. Had a rough year, rough go of it. And as long as he sticks with it, he'll come out the other side of this deal doing pretty good, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But he had some rough tumbles. There was a couple races where it seemed like recovery was forever long. Ben Driscoll, rough season. But he's out there every week, giving it the best he can. And with a little more seat time, and Misfit is like those TC buggies. You've got to drive it on the ragged edge or it doesn't work.
Right.
And it's hard to jump in something of that nature and go wide open from the drop of the green flag.
Right.
So I get it. I get the struggle. I couldn't do it. But yeah, I think Ben is our On the Hook seasonal winner for this year. Maybe next year he can be that Out the Top award winner. He gets this turned around and gets Misfit pointed in the right direction for 2025. That wraps up our awards segment. You got any final notes about this season, man? I wished I could have got to more events next year. I'm going to try and hit absolutely as many as I can. I'm still not driving to Missouri. Not happening.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want to either. That's quite a haul for us, but
still not going to Missouri. But
man, I just appreciate all the listeners, all you guys for the support.
Yeah, and we're not done for the year. This is just our race season wrap up. I do have at least one more episode of the Business of Rock Bouncing coming this way.
Yeah, I feel like we'll do a recap from the Battle of the Bouncers.
We're going to be, I don't know if I told you this or not, Battle of the Bouncers, there's a pit party on Friday night at 7 p.m. If all goes well, we've made plans to do a lot of these shows at events, and we usually get tied up, bad weather, something happens, and as long as there's good weather, as long as we can physically do it, the plan is to have a live show Friday night from the pit party. We're going to talk to some of the drivers, try and pull some of the fans in, do some giveaways and things like that. So that's the plan for Battle of the Bouncers. So we've still got 5-6 shows coming this year, so don't give up on us yet. But yeah, I've got at least – we got to get Clyde locked in for a Business of Rock Bouncing soon. He's done said he was available anytime we wanted him. So we got to make that happen. And then also, rumor is Timmy Cameron's going to be on the show this year before we close out the season too. So something to look out for. All right, guys, that's a wrap for this week. Episode 66 of Out the Top. I don't know. We might be back next week. We might not. If we're here, we're here. We'll see. We'll surprise you. Dan, good talking to you again, buddy.
Stay easy.
Stay easy, he said.